Greetings and peace and love. My name is Ram Hotep, broadcasting on behalf of the number 13 SignsAstrology.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. On this particular episode, I want to talk about the woman. I want to talk about the significance of the woman when it comes to the occult, the significance of the woman when it comes to economics. You see, it's talked about and we revere women and, we say a lot of good things about women. But at the end of the day, we don't really, in this society, when I say we, in this society, we don't really utilize the woman the way that we should. Now, when I say utilize the woman, I'm not speaking of exploiting a woman or using a woman or anything like that. What I mean by that is that we don't create an environment that is conducive for the woman to be able to be what she really truly was created to be. The woman is a mysterious being in general. When you study the occult, the number 13 resonates with the woman. It's a feminine number in nature. And the woman is basically the mystery. Like when you get into the hidden aspects of life, this is when you get into understanding what the woman, who the woman truly is. On this particular planet, in this solar system, the female is the superior being. There was a time on this planet when there were only females living in colonies during the times of Lemuria. I point this out, and this is important because even as a man, you can't understand who you are as a man unless you first understand and study the woman. That's the only way you're going to understand who you are as a man here on this particular planet, because biologically, the woman is the keeper of the mysteries. She has a womb. And when you break down the term woman, you see woe and then man. Because a woman is essentially like a man with a womb. However, in this society, it's very patriarchal. So we really don't get into, I guess you can say, teaching the woman and helping her to understand who she is, then utilizing her based upon the powers that she has. A woman is a super being. Why? Because a woman can not only bring life into existence, independent of a man. Of course, she would need a laboratory to do this, but independent of a man, a woman can bring life into existence, and sometimes not even in a laboratory, because you can get into understanding self-fertilization and things of that nature. A woman is capable of producing life totally independent and self-sustaining of a man. So a woman doesn't need a man, because she can actually not only can she do that, she can then nourish this particular life and nurture this particular life. Because when you understand nature and nurture, these are the same things. So the woman, she's the nurturer. A man can't nurture a baby child. Even if a man was able to bring a child into existence in a laboratory, that child would need to graduate in degrees as a human being, as a baby, into toddlerhood, into teenager, being a teenager, and then into adulthood. And in order for a baby to make it through that process and be healthy and be totally aligned spiritually, they need a woman, or they need their mother. They need a breast, essentially. Because when a baby comes out of the womb, if the woman wasn't on the scene, you would have to give it, you have to give it milk from a bottle, you have to create breast milk, laboratory, and it's not natural. So this is why the woman is so important in the occult. And even when you get deeper into it, and when you get into understanding magic and things of that nature, really, when a man gets initiated into the occult, and when you get really high up, you're going to find out that the feminine principle rules. It's the feminine principle, the fact that a woman, even when you understand blood and the concept of blood sacrifice, and this is something that's in the occult. And I'm not promoting blood sacrifice or anything like that, but I'm speaking of the concept of it, because it's a part of magic. You need blood for certain rituals to work. And it was the man that introduced, through patriarchy, that introduced killing and pillaging and basically killing a person and using that blood as a part of the sacrifice. When a woman, she could use her own blood. She could use her period blood, and she can use the blood that comes when she has her menstrual cycle and use that in magic. So she doesn't have to do a sacrifice of her nature to participate in the occult. So this is why the woman is the master of the mysteries on a spiritual side, and she holds all of our stories. Because no matter what civilization you're talking about, whether it's Egypt, Peru, whether it's Afghanistan, Turkey, no matter what civilization you're talking about, all of these civilizations got their start and their origins from a feminine-based society. And what happened over time is that the female lost her power because she partook in an experiment to create man. That's right. Female scientists created the male species, because being a male is, we say it's a gender, but it's a species. And female scientists created the male species here on this planet now. Now, I'm not saying that there was not a male species on other planets. Keep that in mind. Before the male species came here. What I am saying is that female scientists were able to tune in with extraterrestrial beings and higher up beings and get the intelligence or the intel to be able to bring a male-based being into existence. That's why they say women are from Venus, men are from Mars, because males come from one part of the solar system, women come from another part of the solar system, and women just so happen to be the gods of this particular solar system. That's why it was called Tiamat, which goes into the balance of earth and water. That's what the name Tiamat means, balancing earth and water, or one of the names. So the woman is very important. She is the maker of all, and I'm not here just to brag and boast about women, but I want to really get into some of the practical concepts, ideas that we can, as a society and as a culture, how we can begin to start helping the woman begin to be what she really truly is, because women are suppressed in the society because of male patriarchy. But what's happening with the shift is that we are responsible for getting the woman back to where she is. However, it's going to take the male to be really effective male to be able to teach the woman about government and the world and the I guess the outer society of the world, so that we can help to initiate the woman back and put her back on her throne. That's what the male has to do. And I know a lot of females out there are like, we don't need no man to teach us anything about government. We can go and study and understand government on our own. And I'm sure, yes, you can definitely understand government on your own. But what you have to remember is that we're in a shift, in a transition. And this government is a patriarchal government. So in order for males have to initiate the woman into this patriarchal government, and then she's going to naturally shift it into the matriarchal society that we used to live in. And until we do that, effectively shift this nation and this culture back into matriarchy effectively, and where it's not, I'm not saying matriarchy to where we have a bunch of homosexual males either. I'm not talking about that, because I don't promote, you know what I'm saying, while I understand homosexuality and things of that nature, and I understand that there are different species of beings that come out with those tendencies to like the same sex. However, I do understand that there is a group of beings out there that are real live men and have to function as men. So I'm not saying that men have to be passive in teaching this. What I am saying is that men have to learn how to be interdependent and learn how to initiate the woman and put the woman into her place so she can function better. You have to put the woman on her throne, which means you need a kingdom. That's where the concept of males rule the kingdom. So when you understand a kingdom, the male goes out and he works and he does certain things, and a woman sits on the throne. So essentially the government is like basically a seat. You deal with government, like whether you're the governor or the mayor or the senator or congressman or whatever, these are seats. And really, essentially, these seats at one point were held and controlled by the matriarchy. So they did all the electing and the appointing and things of that nature. It was the matriarchal, and it's done like this to this day, but right now it's still a secret in the occult. But it's time for all secrets to be exposed now, because we're in this energy of the shift. So secretly, the secret societies, which of course the secret societies ruled government. Like, when you talk about government is nothing but a puppet of secret societies, and secret societies are controlled by females in the occult. The higher up secret societies are female-based secret societies that men can't even get into, and they're out there. In China, they're in Europe, there are different secret societies out there that are like that are very powerful women. However, I'm talking about here in America, we seem to, the sexist thing and the whole male-based society thing, how everything is based on being like a man. Like, you even hear people, and I'm not knocking Steve Harvey, but you hear books like Act Like a Woman but Think Like a Man and things of that nature. And I understand the concept of what he's talking about, but you don't have to think like a man. You can act like a woman and think like a woman. It's just that women don't really know exactly who they really truly are. So that's what I want to get into today. So when you understand the concept of, say, economics, we're dealing with a government shutdown. And right now, a lot of women are out of jobs, losing jobs. And a lot of women are like, what am I going to do? A lot of men are out of jobs. And the problem here is that you don't have an economy set up in order to function and live. You're not a scientist. See, a woman was a scientist. So when you talk about the concept of a housewife, women nowadays hear that and you're like, I don't want to be no housewife. I can't sit in the house and do that. Like, I'd rather go out in corporate America and work, because I want to use my mind and think, and I want to compete on a level with males and stuff. And they look at it as competition with males. However, you're missing your throne, and you could be a billionaire sitting in a house being a housewife nowadays, because that should be the new job right now. Because a housewife that's a scientist is going to be an economist. She's going to run the household financially, make sure that the household, as far as bills, you're not living off any debt. You're saving 10 to 20% of your income. And not only that, but you're investing your income to produce new things. So a housewife is going to master recipes, create certain sauces, and market these sauces while still taking care of the children. Keep in mind, you can do all of this online on the internet. So an effective housewife is a revolutionary right now, if a woman is willing to take that position. But again, people don't want to work. You're saying the government shut down and now you're just giving up on life like it's all over, when I just told you on the last video that I, self, law, and master. I know people are like, well, I'm not worried about the government being shut down. Like, who are you talking to? Well, you got to go outside and you look around. You see these people out here and they're messed up. You can look at people's faces. They don't know what the hell to do. People are in America right now. People are in the worst condition they've ever been in. Why? Because America has been spoiled off of being taken care of by another person, and we don't understand the concept and the science and the art of economy and economics. So a woman could be producing sauces, foods, recipes, writing books on recipes, putting all this stuff out on the internet. Then she can even get into gardening. She can get into growing certain, like, say for instance, hemp. She can get into growing hemp. You know how many things you can do with hemp? You can make clothes. You can eat it. You can smoke it. Some people say you can do a lot of stuff with it or whatever, but as far as, the hemp plant or whatever, and like the origins of it, the buds or whatever, the marijuana aspect, you can smoke it. It's a medicine. I mean, so many uses and levels to it. But again, you have to know how to grow and effectively produce this plant. So that's where the scientist aspect comes in at. You may, like being a housewife or whatever, you may have to choose a tropical area to be a housewife in. But what I'm getting at is that the woman is powerful when you put her on her throne. So the male, he goes out and creates the kingdom, while the woman rules from and sits on the seat and keeps everything going. So the male, he goes out and he does all the fighting. And, like even in nature, you kind of see this or whatever, but in certain amongst certain animals where the male supposedly is supposed to go out and protect, and make sure he goes out in the field and set up new trading posts and protecting from certain predators coming and attacking the family and things of that nature. And whereas the woman, she nurtures the child, raises the child, prepares the child at a certain age, and then she gives the child to the male. Then the male takes and initiates the child out into the world, into the kingdom. So the concept of a man in his place is that men are the teachers. Men are supposed to teach men and women how to effectively deal in society, like in the world, like in a world stage. That's where the male comes in at. And the female is the nurturer. But she's not just limited to that. It's just popping out babies, because many people think about, as far as like having a lot of babies, like that's bad. That's not even bad, because if you're having a lot of babies or whatever, that means you got more workers. I mean, you go, well, you shouldn't make your children your slaves or whatever. That's essentially what they are until they get a certain age. I mean, if they're up under you, you have to teach them and guide them. So, but if you set up, basically what I'm saying is that if you have your ineffective kingdom, you have your woman on the throne, and she begins to produce children, you have an economy running. Once the children get old, they're going to assume positions within the economy that you built up. So things naturally flow that way. So then 50 years from now, your economy that started off with just you and this woman, you may be a nation now, like a real life nation. From 50 years later or whatever, you may be a superpower. But the thing is that you have to have the mind to know how to build from scratch, and then to begin into international business. So like, say for instance, when the woman creates her sauce and she perfects it and it's good, and it's good, then it's the male's job to go out in the world to market the sauce, to get it in the world economies. And this is how men and women are supposed to work together as counterparts. So marriage now is more so based below the belly. It's about sex, not cheating, having somebody to go out with after you get off from work, going to get your nails done, you know, and going to get your hair cut and all that so you can look good. And that's cool. However, what about the economy? What's going to happen? You can't live in this dream forever. And it's soap opera forever. Eventually, reality, and it's happening right now, reality is hitting. You got people on the internet talking about ain't nothing happened from the shift. 2012 came and went, everything's still the same. You're not saying that now because there's no government, there's no economy. So until you put the woman in her place, that's the reason I'm making this video, we will be in this situation. One of my teachers taught that a nation, the economy could rise no higher than the place and the stature of where the woman is at. So if you see the woman suppressed by male patriarchy to the point where she doesn't even know she's suppressed, where she thinks like now women are brainwashed, so they're promoting male patriarchy without even realizing it, that's when you know the nation has went to hell on an economic level. This is why we're not producing anything in America and we continue to consume everything and use credit and things of that nature. Is because the male's not teaching, the woman's not on her throne, everybody's confused, and we're competing. That's what's happening. So what has to happen is that we have to begin to work interdependently together as a whole, and that will solve our problems. Put the woman, the occult has to become, like, it's already known and understood in the occult societies. Like the Quakers, they understand this. Those societies that already live off land, they understand what the woman is supposed to be and what the man is supposed to be. People, the communal societies understand this. The Chinese understand this. This is why you see their women have nail salons. The man may function, the women do the nails or whatever. You know, they make sure that the money's made, and then the man, he promotes the business and makes sure that he sets up more than one nail salon. And every time he sets up a new nail salon, you can put more women inside of that salon. So the male has to know his function. When you understand the concept of like pimping, you have to reverse that. And I'm not saying a male should go out here and pimp anybody, but you do have to culture, like a pimp is a cultivator. He has to teach the woman how to effectively do her job, except, of course, you teach a woman to sell herself and to sell her body and exploit herself, which goes back into male patriarchy again. Even pimping is patriarchal, but it's still based on a truth, on a paradigm of truth, because all falsehood and all dark energy is based on truth and based on the light, because there really is no such thing as darkness. There's just lights that we can't perceive and see. So pimping looks dark. It comes from a very dark place, but if you extract the goodness from it, it could become a very I guess like a tool of learning, like a society and a culture, if you will, that you can learn from. Gangsterism, the same thing. You have people that are like males that are naturally like G's and gangsters, but then they go out and they do things and they don't think, and they use their gangsterism, they end up in jail. Whereas if we had an effective economy, we would know that, you know, those people that have a little bit more of that gangsterism, and those are your soldiers in a particular war. These are your tacticians. You have to teach them the martial arts, the art of being a gangster. So everything has an art and a society and a structure to it. And when you run your society like this and you put everybody in their place, it keeps down on all the chaos and the riffraff. So what's going to happen is that we're going to have to put the woman back on her throne, build the kingdom, build the economy, solve our problems. So I hope that helped. That's my brief video on the woman and the occult. Until we meet again, I'll leave you in peace.